Make sure to check out our sponsor, Cell Phone Buyers Recyclers. They want to buy your cell phone old, broken, or you're just trying to get rid of it. You can contact them right at the number on the screen, text or call. Also, their social media and website is in the description if that's more convenient. If you share their social media accounts on social media, get a chance to win an iPhone. Go check them out. All right, man. Final Last Dance review, and I give an overall review in this one. Parts 9 and 10 came on last night. Appreciate everybody tapping back in. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Check out NBA Talk video for more playlists like this. And let's just get into the last episode, and I'll give my overall opinion on the whole series. Did it live up to expectations? Did it fall short? Was it garbage? I'll let you guys know. 9 and 10, just, kind of, they went back and forth in time. They kind of met in the middle. Went, through the situation he had with Utah, beating up on Karl Malone and John Stockton. And, but it opened up with, the Reggie Miller Pacers series. And I remember watching that as a kid. I was rooting for, Reggie Miller. Hell, I didn't like Jordan. All right, nobody from Detroit really fuck with the Pistons like that and know the history. Don't really like Jordan like that. But, the apparel just out cold. So people still wear the shoes, obviously. But, it kind of started off, and that Pacers team was damn good, too. Probably one of the better teams that never win the finals. That was their best team. Even the team that got smashed by Kobe and Shaq in the early 2000s. This is their best team, from Mark Jackson to Jalen Rose, a good defender, Reggie Miller, Rick Smith was an all-star, Antonio and Dale Davis. That team, Larry Bird was coaching the team. That team was their best chance to beat the Bulls, and they took the Bulls to 7. And people had this facade that the Bulls never win 7 games. In certain situations, I think they win 5 with the Cleveland Cavaliers in the best of 5. So that's the equivalent of a 7-game series. But Michael Jordan never seen 7 in the NBA Finals. But they beat the Pacers. They went back and forth and kind of showed the dialogue of the game winners and all this, that, and the third, and how people disrespect Reggie Miller, but Reggie Miller was a really good ball player, man. In today's game, Reggie Miller will light it up. Reggie Miller really can shoot the ball. He can get to the bucket. He was long, and he can play the game. He had a lot of swag. Reggie Miller, man, he talked some shit like a mother. That's one of my favorite players of all time, because he was just a straight baller, man, and he ain't never backed down. And he used to give Jordan the business. I'm telling you, man, he used to give Jordan some buckets. But eventually they showed them persevering over them in 7, and Reggie didn't show up in game 7. That's what I remember. But that series is one of my favorite series outside of any Pistons series, because I'm biased towards the Pistons. Outside of any NBA playoff series, that's probably my favorite one watching as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Or overall, that was my favorite series, because that was a classic Eastern Conference brawl. People say, "Oh, Jordan didn't play anybody." Shit, the Pacers was tough. The Knicks was tough. The Pistons was hella tough. You know what I'm saying? That Mark Price, Brad Daughtry, Larry Nance, young Ron Harper before the knee injury. That Cavs team was really, really tough. He played some tough, man. Not to mention the '86 Celtics that did the blue face with him and mopped him up. That team was like one of the greatest teams of all time. He had a tough Eastern Conference trip. They took some blows there. I mean, Penny and Shaq. You just keep going and phenomenal teams they ran into. And the Pacers pretty much was the last Eastern Conference opponent that they played, and they almost took them out. But Jordan just was too confident. He was too savvy. He was just there, and he, showed it. Went to show Steve Kerr about his family, and who really care about Steve Kerr as a player. He was okay. And just how Jerry Krause, how the pressure was on them, and Krause was hanging over, and everybody know he was going to blow up the team. But, the interesting points about it was that Michael respected Karl and John Stockton a lot. And, Brian Russell basically told him that while he retired, and he was going to lock him up, and they kind of built up to him shaking Brian Russell. I still remember where I was at when Jordan hit that shot in '98. I'll never forget it. But we'll get there. But, other than that, it just showed kind of, it winded down, the 9 and 10. It showed it winding down. Jerry Krause passed away in 2017. So this is why you didn't see him have a presence in this documentary for real, like Scottie and like Jordan. But, one thing, you took away from this thing was Scottie Pippen. He fucking quit so many times, or he had so many issues so many times, bro. Like, it wasn't even fucking funny with Scottie Pippen, from the migraine to the coach quit, and then to the back injury, and he was ready to quit and being a decoy. Like, dude, Jordan was dealing with Scottie quitting. That's what they was calling him on my timeline yesterday. Scottie quitting. He just wasn't. He wasn't no reliable. He like a Ford car. He just wasn't reliable. Good player, but he had a lot of mental lapses throughout his career, man. And little known fact, I don't think people know this. And the phone pauses was actually, and I might do a video on this at some point. The phone pauses was actually Scottie Pippen's shoe, and Scottie Pippen thought they was whack. So Nike gave him the penny. So he quit. So my boy was like, so he quit on the phone pauses too. But just going into 8-9, it just things that I already knew for the most part. Other than people said the pizza made Jordan sick, and it wasn't the flu. I always heard that he was drunk, but apparently it was a bad pizza he bought in Utah, and Utah tried to poison him. Nugget here. When Reggie Miller used to play the Knicks, because he was known for killing the Knicks, he was sending Mark Jackson out to get food in New York City, because Mark was from New York City. All right. And shout out to his brother too, who played in N1. But he was saying Mark out to get the food because he was scared in New York City they was going to food poison him. So he was saying Mark Jackson to go get him some food. So Reggie Jackson knew what was up when you go into rival territory. I mean, Reggie Miller knew what was up when you go into rival territory to get food. So Michael Jackson bought this pizza and he got sick, and therefore you got the flu game, where he was carried off the court, and he thugged it out, and he crossed Brian Russell. People talking about, did he push him? That's a debate that people been having to today, and his momentum was carrying him that way, and he bought out. People just seeing the will Jordan had. Jordan was a mid-range assassin. If he needed to hit the three, he could shoot the three. But his mid-range game, his ball handling, he was just on another level, in the second three-peat. He may not have been as athletic or twitchy as he once was, but he just had the cheat code. Kind of like Tom Brady say, why'd I quit now and I got the cheat code? His turnaround was too good. His game wasn't. He made the metamorphosis into a crafty player. It wasn't predicated on flying through the rim or being the fastest or being the quickest. Like, he legitimately had skills. You know what I'm saying? He had an old man YMCA Paul Pierce type game. You know what I'm saying? And Jordan was hearing like a mug. Jordan was just on a different level. And he just was more craftier than anybody else. He was more skilled than anybody else. He wasn't like the fastest or quickest no more, and that's kind of like you waiting for what LeBron gonna do. When LeBron, athleticism drop off, if he gonna be skilled and play through the post like that, or he just gonna fall off. But he was just crafty, man, and he was giving Brian Russell the business. But he was a good defender in his day. But Jordan hit that shot, it was over with. But overall, 9 to 10 just show how it ended. Jerry, they tried to bring back Phil. They wanted to bring back Phil for one more year to rebuild the team. And Michael said he would have signed for 1 year. He said he had been signing for 1 year deals for a long time, and he truly wanted to continue. He said he truly wanted to continue to see where he can, where it would have took him. And at the same time, it was kind of some conflict as far as what he's saying of conflict, because he's telling Ahmad Rashad a few episodes ago in the Range Rover that he was ready to tap out. He was tired of living the life. He was tired of the hotel room, going to the hotel, being crowded. He was getting beat down, and he physically was exhausted. So Jordan was coming out his prime anyway. He said, I don't want to be carried off the court. I want to walk off on my own merit. So you started to see Jordan was getting run down and tired down. The prime was, those deep playoff runs take a toll on you. They take a toll on you. So Jordan, overall, I think he got out at the right time. I think they would have probably won it in 99. But Scottie Pippen body was starting to break down. And people talk about how good Scottie was. Scottie, to me, wasn't that good. He was a good defender. You know what I'm saying? He was a good number 2 guy. But you look what he did in Houston, fell short. You look what he did in Portland with a super team, fell short. You know what I'm saying? People say, oh, the Bulls almost went to the finals without Jordan. But they lost in the semifinals to a team that Jordan historically dominated in the New York Knicks. So I wasn't like, as a player, Scotty was a good player, but he wasn't the best 50 players I've seen, you know, at the time. You know, but he was perfect for Jordan, and they couldn't have did it without each other. And he did the dirty work. He defended. He was the point forward. So, you know, that was it. But other than, you know, 9 and 10, you know, it wasn't nothing spectacular that I already didn't know, other than the pizza story. But, you know, he's just dominating the Utah Jazz back-to-back years. He's ripping Karl Malone, and, you know what I'm saying, giving them, I mean, we lived it. You know, I remember where I was when he pushed off on Byron, whatever the hell his name was. We was having a party at one of the Church Brothers' houses, and we would, you know, they would take all of us and we'd go, or at the pastor house, we was doing something with the church, and sometimes we watch the games at the church. And I remember we was at you know, one of their houses, and remember that shit happened. We all was mad. Everybody was pushing for Utah because motherfuckers in Detroit didn't like Jordan like that. But Jordan was just like that. Jordan, you know, you was waiting on Jordan to lose. It wasn't going to happen. He was just willed. He was willing that team to win. And, you know, not too many players got the will to win like that. And he just had a great game. You know what I'm saying? Mid-range jumper, post-game, defense, the ability to drive. He just had the cheat codes. But overall, the series, man, because 9 and 10 was cool. The series, you know, it was okay. It wasn't this spectacle that they made it to build up to. If I had to give it a rating out of 1 to 10, I'm gonna say it was a 7. You know, I was expecting more. Maybe if they let HBO handle it, the production would have been better. It was cool, but I was expecting more. I still like, even though it wasn't as long, I still prefer the 30 for 30 with Reggie Miller. I still prefer the 30 for 30 with the Bad Boys, Pistons. Maybe that's just my biasness towards those two, but it wasn't this classic documentary that I was expecting. It was cool, you know, but maybe because I lived through it and I knew most of the stories, nothing really came out of left field with me. But one thing I did want to say that I neglected in the first, 5 parts of this shit I done was that it's funny that Michael Jordan didn't listen to rap, but this whole fucking soundtrack was based off rap. You know, he didn't like hip hop. You know, you hear the stories about Chamillionaire, you hear the stories, I think it was Ghostface, or whoever it was a Method Man, or whoever it was trying to take get an autograph. He said, you know, he don't listen to rap or whatever it was. But Jordan listened to rap. I mean, he don't listen to rap, but he used rap, and, you know, to sell his shoes and to sell his apparel. You know, who else he was selling shoes to first? He was selling shoes to the hood first. You know, for a dude to use, you know, basically for a dude to use hip hop to sell his brand, and what it would use to, you know, he should have used what the fuck he listened to. Was it country? You know, was it? I know he liked R&B. He was on the bus listening to Kitty Lattimore. You know, what's so funny is that, you know, that just lets you know they use our shit, even if they don't like it, as long as it make their shit sell. And that's one of the things I didn't like about it. He didn't fucking like Nas. He didn't listen to, you know, Cool Mo D and some of the other soundtracks they had on there. You know what I'm saying? Play that shit you listening to. Play that, oh, on the farm, play that shit. You feel what I'm saying? You know, but they use hip hop. They don't like it, and they don't like the players in it, but they use it as long as it make money. And he dropped the Flints, you know, whatever the fuck those is last night. He did a surprise drop, you know, dropping them. I don't give a fuck, man. The people buying the same shoe over 10 times again. Give a hell about no damn Flints at all, man. But hey, man, I give it a 7 out of 10. It wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. Just my opinion. I thought I was looking for something way, way more. But I think if HBO would have did it, I think it would have been better. You know, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you got business, question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, PayPal, inscription. Best way to donate is share the video one time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfella, Goodfella Sports TV. We go.